Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Kyla and I'm back with another video. Yes, I'm wearing the same shirt. Mind your business. It's a series, okay? But anyway, again, it's part 2 of our series, and this series don't even have a name. I just realized, but it's fine. Whatever. Mind your business again. Let me just start over. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm super excited to be back with part 2, and today we're going to be talking about how to break a soul tie. If you haven't already seen the first part of this series called How to Let Go of Your Ex and Surrender Them to God, I'm going to go ahead and leave the link up to that above so you can watch that before you watch this one. Or if you was a rebel, just go ahead and keep watching. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Seriously, right now, hit the subscribe button. I'm not moving on until you hit the subscribe button. Come on now. Don't just be over here watching without subscribing. Did you do it yet? Okay, I think I gave you enough time. If you're returning, welcome back. I'm always super excited to have you. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get into today's video. Okay, so soul ties are something that really prevents a lot of people from moving further into the things of God. It really holds you down. There's a lot of weight to it, and it happens basically when you are in a relationship, you are intimate with someone, and it's a very strong emotional, mental, and physical connection that you have with that person that makes it difficult for you to let go and to move on. I have another video, a Bible study about it that goes into more detail, but just for the gist of this video, that's basically what it is. Specifically, I'm talking about soul ties within relationships of past partners. So soul ties are particularly unique in that they can only be broken through prayer and fasting. And then I'm going to add on some practical things that I did to help break those soul ties as well, because it is not a pretty process, but it is a process that is necessary if you really want to move on to the things that God has for you, if you really want to be a part of this wholeness journey. Yeah, so it's really necessary. So let's go ahead and jump right into the praying. Now, praying and fasting go hand in hand. You don't fast without praying. If you fast without praying, you're basically starving yourself. And when I say fasting, particularly, I'm speaking about fasting from food, abstaining from your plate. That is the biblical way. I was taught if you're fasting from anything else, it's considered consecration, but we're going to focus on biblical fasting, which is fasting from food. So just to break down a couple of reasons why fasting is important and what it does for you is fasting helps you to starve your flesh and increase your spirit. A lot of the times our flesh is so used to just doing whatever it wants that it just reigns, and it often leads us to make really dumb decisions. It's what causes us to fall into temptation. So we have to suppress our flesh and really feed our spirit. Feed our spirit with the word of God. Feed our spirit with the presence of God, and strengthen ourselves up so we can be built up to allow God to come into those places and really do the work in the inner healing that it takes to break a soul tie. Fasting also is a great way to help you to hear from God more. A lot of times our lives are really chaotic, and so when we ask God to do something, sometimes we're so busy that we cannot hear him. But fasting allows our spiritual senses to be open to really hear the voice of the Holy Spirit, so he can tell us how to break the soul tie, what we need to release, what areas in our lives we need to go back to, so that he can really do some inner healing. I'll leave a link below as well to an article that I found that is really helpful, that just goes into more detail about the benefits of fasting, because you can fast for other things besides breaking a soul tie, but that's what we're going to be focusing on today. So if you saw my testimony, you know that God took me on a 21-day consecration with the society that I was a part of, where during that process I actually did a food fast during that time for, I think it was like 4 or 5 days that I fasted for. And during those time I focused on these particular prayer points. I prayed for God to break the soul tie between me and my ex. I prayed for him to break the yokes as well. I pray for him to burn up the residue. The residue is something that really is a huge trigger for people to backslide, because I know that this is my problem in the past. I still had all of those memories and all of the things that just drew me so close to her. And so when it came to actually trying to stay away, there was like this pulling, and a lot of that is the residue. It's the reminding, it's the things that you really don't want to get rid of. That's what keeps you going back. So you want to pray for God to like burn up that residue. And as I'm doing this video, I want to remind you that I'm not in that place anymore. And when I was going through that place, it was very painful. It took me a while. It wasn't something that just happened overnight, but I'm just summarizing these points to get the information out quickly. You also want to pray for strength to endure the pruning. As God is, removing these memories from your life, removing the communication with you and your ex, as God is removing things that you all have shared together, it is not going to be an easy process. And so you want to have strength to endure that, because some people stop at that process. Some people get paralyzed right there, and you need to be able to press forward and to move into where God is calling you. And then the last thing one of your prayer points should be is strength to release emotionally and spiritually. You need strength to be able to let that go. Especially, like for me, it was a 5-year relationship, so it took some time. It's hard. You know what I mean? It's not something that you're just gonna wake up and say, oh yes, I feel completely better. Like real life, like it is hard. You are going to have some tears. It's going to be hard. You need strength emotionally and physically to be able to bear that pain. But there is no pain that is too great for God, and you're not going to be doing this alone. The Holy Spirit is going to be comforting you and helping you throughout this entire process. For more clear directions on your fasting, you can ask the Holy Spirit how long you need to fast for and what things you need to get rid of during the fast. Like I said, for me, it was I think it was a 4 or 5 day fast where I went from without eating food from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Now that was just me. Some people do 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. Some people do 6 to 12. It's your preference. I would really seek the Holy Spirit on those instructions. So now that I've explained prayer and fasting, I want to talk about some practical things that I had to do along this journey as God was breaking the soul tie, as he was breaking these yokes. One of the things I had to do was get rid of anything that reminded me of her, reminded me of our relationship, anything that we shared together. This included things like old pictures, videos, letters, clothing, gifts. This was the really hard part. It was all hard, but this part in particular, I'm not gonna lie, y'all, I felt like I was gonna die. I'm being dramatic, but like that, it hurt. You know what I mean? We were in a 5-year relationship, so it was really difficult. And I did do this in layers. So like through the prayer and the fasting, like I had to take a break because it was just a lot on me mentally, but I knew that I needed to push forward. So this isn't, when you're getting rid of things, don't feel like you got to get rid of everything, like just, get rid of it in one night. Like being realistic with yourself and understand that this is something that takes time and it takes layers. So once you get rid of those items, those sentimental items, those things that remind you of that relationship, those things that remind you of the past, then you want to move into asking God to help you to stop that communication. Again, these are steps that people might feel is real extra. You may still feel like you can have open communication with your ex and still be friends with your ex and continue to pursue the things of God. Speaking from personal experience, it just is like playing with fire. In the beginning stages, those feelings are still there, and you may think that you are in a position where you can, be around your ex and be friends and constantly be in communication with your ex and, not be tempted or not, backslide. But coming from personal experience, it is not worth the risk to backslide by trying to hold on to something that God has told you to let go of. Like I said, when you're in my last video, I talked about releasing your ex to God. God will keep them without you having to be in the picture. So you need to start working on breaking that communication up. This was something that was very difficult to me. To go from talking to someone every day to like not talking to them at all was like, whew, y'all, it was a lot, but it is something that is necessary because you have to release them to have their own healing, and you have to be releasing yourself to the healing as well. And like I said, the longer you hold on, the higher the risk is to backslide, the higher the temptation, and the higher the chance that you will go back. The moment that you cut that cord is when your healing will really accelerate. And because sometimes like we complain about like how long things takes and how we're still in the wilderness, but sometimes the wait is really us not letting go completely. We want to kind of try to compromise with God, but there is no compromise with God. So you can do practical things like unfollowing them on social media, stop texting them, stop calling them. Just really ask God to just slowly remove them for your life, but make it as painless as possible for you. And like I said, it's a lot of mental preparation, but through prayer and fasting, you will find the strength to do those things. And the last thing that I want to talk about in terms of breaking soul ties is just to be patient with yourself. This is a process. It is painful. It is hurtful. You will experience a lot of spiritual warfare during this time where the enemy will be planting thoughts in your head like, trying to shame you and guilt you from letting go and cutting that cord. But this is the time where you really want to press into God and block out any distractions. You got to stop getting on social media during this time. Do that. You really want God to fully break that soul tie again, so you can have the strength to continue to move on into the things that God has for you to move on to your purpose. So just be patient. Be patient with yourself and understand that this process is entirely possible and it is necessary, and God will be with you every single step of the way. And you don't have to do this alone. I do have a community for those who are looking to leave the homosexual lifestyle, or those who have already left and are just looking for a community of support and accountability and really looking to build their relationship with Christ in a deeper way. I'll leave the link for you to join below. And like I said, don't do this journey alone. God is with you. There is support out here. So all right guys, make sure you leave your questions in the comments, because the Q&A session will be the next video, and I will see you guys then.